Hi everyone. Okay, so welcome to Speyer in Germany. I know many of you haven't heard of this city, this town. That's a great shame. It is beyond historic, especially for the world Jewish community. It constitutes one of the most important locuses of European Jewish history. So let's just do it quickly. About 10 years before the First Crusade, about 1086, a cardinal, archbishop, invited the Jews, thinking, as they always do, the Jews bring civilization, they bring commercial prosperity, they bring education. He invited them to actually live here in Speyer, and he said that he would protect them. Get this, the Jews were allowed to carry firearms, Second Amendment, back then, for their own protection. So they came in what were fairly large numbers, maybe 10 to 18,000, and they lived in prosperity for 10 years. They had all kinds of rights that wouldn't be granted to Jews for maybe 800 years in Germany. But of course, 10 years later, the wicked Pope Urban II preaches the First Crusade, and Peter the Hermit and the People's Crusade and everything I've told you about on this trip. The Crusaders come through and they kill large amounts of the Speyer community. But they don't kill them all, which is interesting. Now, because in every other city they were just all decimated. Now, here's what's interesting. There are 3 cities in this area on the Rhine River. They constitute the epicenter of what we call Ashkenazi Jewry. Remember, today, Israel split into Ashkenazi Jewry and Sephardic Jewry. For example, I'm Ashkenazi. My father's from Iran. My mother's from Brooklyn. Her parents are from Lithuania and Poland. My wife, Debbie, who's holding the phone, doesn't have any Sephardic blood whatsoever, which means she's not even that Jewish. I mean, her Jewish lineage sucks. Sephardic, baby. But the point is, when we say the word Sephardic, we mean Spain, literally. I mean, today it means, North African and Middle Eastern Jewry, but really, it means Spain. And Ashkenaz means Germany. So, in the same way that Toledo, or Granada, or Cordoba was the locus of Sephardic Jewry, like where the Rambam is from, when you speak about Ashkenaz, I want my wife to understand this, because she's like Ashkenazi Tahor. When you speak about Ashkenaz Jewry, you're talking Speyer, Mainz, and Worms. Let me repeat that. It was called Shum, the 3 most important cities. Debbie, what are they? Speyer, Mainz, and Worms. Now, for Debbie, that's especially relevant because her grandmother is from Mainz. That's right, Shum. So, the Worms is about 20 kilometers from here. It has the oldest surviving synagogue in all of Europe. The Maharam of Rottenburg is buried there. I saw it. I showed you pictures of it. But this city also has a 1,000-year-old, second oldest in all of Europe. It wasn't completely destroyed during the Holocaust. There are remnants. Now, Speyer was also bombed by the Allies, so a lot of what you're saying is the whole Disneyland effect yet again of, a city in ruins that was rebuilt. But when it comes to the Jewish community is brought here and is even allowed to carry arms and protect themselves in 1086. A decade later is the First Crusade. They get decimated, but they somehow survive. Not all of them are killed. Completely unlike so many of the other cities on the Rhine River, in the Rhine, what we call Rhineland. But then, unfortunately, by the time you hit 1346, and the massacres around the Black Death of bubonic plague, the community is destroyed completely and never regains its prominence. But for about 300 years, Speyer was one of the 3 main centers of what we call till today Ashkenazi Jewry. Just think about that. All around here, Ashkenazi Jewry. And then, of course, in the Holocaust, whatever community had returned over the next few hundred years were all annihilated. We'll see all of that. There's a mikvah that's 1,000 years old that is supposed to be incredibly intact. I've never been here before. It's my first time. There is a shul that has been rebuilt called the Shul of Peace. There was a gorgeous shul. It was burnt to the ground, destroyed in the 14th century. We'll see remnants of that, by the way. Stick with me, baby.